Global Campus uses a tool called Waypoint for grading written assignments. There's a link to Waypoint in the left-hand navigation bar in the Canvas classroom. When you click on the link, Waypoint launches in a new window. When Waypoint opens, you'll see that the main screen has a segment for each assignment. Here's a view of a larger course that shows multiple assignments, which is how your courses will most likely look. You can see that each assignment has a top gray bar that identifies the assignment, followed by the 3 tabs for grading. There's a tab for ungraded, graded, and returned options. You'll click on the Begin Grading button that's under the Ungraded tab under the assignment that you want to grade. For example, if you wanted to grade the submissions for the Week 1 assignment in this course, you would click this Begin Grading button. Because we're working in a training environment, we only have one assignment in the course we're using. So I'll go to the Ungraded section for this assignment to get started. This number shows how many student submissions or papers need to be graded. Here we see that we have 4 submissions that need to be graded. We begin by clicking on the Begin Grading button. The student's submission appears on the right side of the screen, and the grading rubric is on the left side of the screen in this gray box. Notice the grading area in the left panel. With the Rubrics tab selected, you can click on the Show button to show the rubric and click on the Collapse button to hide the rubric. You can also click on the areas in the gray panel to see the rubric. The rubric is one continuous document, but you can jump from criteria to criteria by clicking on the topics listed on the left. For each of the criteria, you see the different levels of performance, distinguished, proficient, etc. Select the appropriate level of performance for each criteria. The score for that performance level will automatically populate in the gray bar here and in the rubric. When you select performance level, Waypoint by default adds a comment that reiterates the criteria for that level. You can edit the wording and add comments by clicking on the hyperlink Edit here. Keep in mind that anything you write here is provided directly to the student as feedback, so your comments should be directed to the student. Click Save Feedback to save your comments. If you want to adjust the score that the rubric automatically assigns for this level of performance, click the hyperlink Change here. Type in the adjusted points, then click Save. This score will be reflected in the grade shown in the top blue bar here. For some of the criteria in the rubric, there are some pre-populated feedback comments. If you choose to use these comments, we encourage you to adjust the wording and personalize them. Once you've assigned a performance level to all of the evaluation criteria, you should summarize your feedback in the Summarize Feedback section. Be sure to click Save Feedback when you're finished. To provide in-text comments for this submission, click this A in a gray square near the top right corner of the document. You can select Highlight, Underline, or Strike Through from the drop-down menu. I'll choose Highlight since that's the one you'll be using most often. Click and drag on the text in the submission to highlight it. Type your comment into the text box. As you type, the Waypoint system will provide suggestions based on the word or phrase that you type. Notice that if you select a pre-populated comment, you'll need to modify the text to personalize your feedback. Click the Post button when you're finished typing. The performance levels you chose within the rubric created a total score for this assignment, which you can see here. When you're finished grading the submission, click the Finalize Grade button in the upper right-hand corner of the screen to save the student's file and score. If you need to go back and fix something in this submission after you've finalized the grade, just click the Regrade button. Once you've made your edits, click the Finalize button again. To grade another student's submission, click on the Next Student button in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Clicking this button will load the next student's submission. As you can see at the top of the screen, Waypoint keeps track of how many submissions remain to be graded. As you finish grading each submission, you can continue to click the Next Student button until no submissions remain. When you finish grading the submissions, click the End Grading button to go back to the main menu. This next step is very important. To transfer the assignment grades from Waypoint to the gradebook in Canvas, you must return the grades. Look at the Review Return tab. This number shows that there are submissions that have been graded but not yet returned to the students. To return the grades, click on the Review Return button. In the Review or Return dialog box, all of the submissions that are graded but not returned to students are listed here. Click Return All. Once all the grades show as sent, click Done. It's critical that you return the grades. If you do not complete this final step, students will not be able to view their grades or your feedback. The main menu will appear again. In the Return tab, you can see a number that indicates how many submissions have been graded and returned to students.